Let's bring in Michael Allen, former special assistant to President Bush and senior director for counterproliferation strategy at the National Security Council. So we had been assured by the White House that this balloon had, in effect, been neutered. But as they say in the veterinary world, it seems that this thing was actually intact.
Well, they deserve to be called out for this. They acted as if they had handled this during its transition across the United States. They suggested, they hinted that they were jamming their particular balloon so that it couldn't transmit signals or intelligence they had collected on our nuclear weapons bases back to China when in fact they had. So this is deserving of more congressional oversight and taking a close look here.
Something that shocked me, I don't know if it shocked you or anybody else, but from the get-go, right, the administration never shot down the idea that this balloon was collecting anything, right? They never said it's not operational, it's not collecting any intelligence. Now we learn it may have actually collected significant intelligence, that from U.S. sensitive U.S. military sites where classified information is handled and stored. Why is that okay? It sort of boggles my mind. We're prosecuting a former president for mishandling classified information, yet we allow a balloon to hover over U.S. military bases and collect what it wants.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate them down-talking the threat all along. They know good and well that intelligence is absolutely critical to the Chinese, who were trying to prevent surprise. They want to know where all of our nuclear weapons are, what kind of activity goes on around them, what kind of signals intelligence, as they say, might be occurring on that particular base. And that's so the Chinese can get a signature so that they might be able to figure out when it is, in a time of conflict, how or whether we're spinning things up. And for the Biden administration to sort of underestimate it and say, oh, there's nothing to see here is irresponsible.
I think their words were limited value.
Yeah.
And it's like all intelligence is of value.
That's
to
right.
the Chinese government.
I thought it was core. I thought it's core to what the Chinese intelligence agencies are trying to do.
Well, it really calls into question the decision to let the thing float all the way across the country before taking it down off the coast of South Carolina. Remember what Nikki Haley said back on February the 17th. Listen here.
The idea that we would sit there and look to the sky and have a Chinese spy balloon looking back at us is a national embarrassment. The problem is that we have to start treating China like they deserve to be treated.
Which would, in her book, have entailed, long before this thing got to the U.S. mainland, taking it down over the Gulf of Alaska, or at the very least over the wilds, the hinterlands of Montana.
Yeah, I think the Biden administration was caught not paying attention whatsoever. I don't know that they decided that this was a element of the Chinese strategy that they needed to pay attention to. So they were unprepared to deal with an aggressive new element of Chinese intelligence collection on the United States. By the way, which just isn't only balloons, it's TikTok. It's very aggressive activity in the cities collecting against dissidents. It's a presence at many universities around the country. And you've heard the FBI director say how often they have to open a counterintelligence case against the Chinese. This is a broad, comprehensive effort by the Chinese Communist Party, and we need to wake up.
I want to ask you about Russia and Ukraine while we have you here. A couple important developments. It seems the Biden administration is going to announce a new aid package tomorrow to Ukraine. This coming right on the heels of Secretary Blinken apparently urging Russia yesterday to release Evan Gershkovich, this reporter, this American reporter that they have essentially kidnapped. What are the odds the Russians are going to comply with that request from the U.S. government?
I think they're very low. I think the administration has signaled through its previous diplomacy on Brittany Griner that we really wanted to get involved in the hostage swap negotiation business. And unfortunately, the Chinese have taken another pawn off the table. And so they're going to, the Russians have taken somebody off the table. And over time, I think they're going to try to extract things from us as we are the biggest supporter for Ukraine. So I think this is a real troublesome development. And I think Putin, who's basically been accused as a war criminal, has created has done another horrible act.
Yeah, I think that swap of Victor Bout for Brittany Griner, I mean, Putin's got to look at that and say, wow, that was a great deal. Let me see if I can do this again.
And left Paul Whelan behind.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
Mike, great to have you on. Thanks.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.